Heyo! Yeah, that's right. We are back, the Honolulu Blues boys. It's a trio today. We got Adam, Julius, and Nick. I don't know why I said Adam myself, but you know what I meant.
We got third person on this show.
Third person. I won't be doing that during the show, so don't worry.
Nick laughed at that.
Maybe I will though. Maybe I'll be like, all right, Adam, what do you
just adopt and see how it goes? It was good for a Seinfeld episode, so maybe we can have some luck with it.
Very true, very true. All right, but we're going to be talking a lot on this episode. We got free agency recap. Ironically, at the end of mine and Julius episode, we had not a David Montgomery signing. Literally like a typical, Nick, I know you weren't here for this one because it always happens when you're on, but it was a typical Brad Holmes just like waiting for us to finish our show. And then boom, David Montgomery signing comes in. First, I believe it was the Jamal Williams and Lions are far apart.
Wait, this happened live on? I didn't watch the show. No.
This was like an hour, or like
hour after our show.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, I'm trying to get our stuff out. You know, I wasn't listening. Okay.
And so, yeah, they have Jamal Williams, Lions are far apart, blah, blah, blah. So me and Julius are thinking like, oh, man, Jamal's probably not coming back. Then, bam, David Montgomery coming to town. So it was definitely Jamal Williams is not coming back. So we will be talking about all of that, including Dave Montgomery, but wasn't just him that got signed. There was a few other splashes. One big splash last night that I know you all know who I'm talking about, but we'll get to him as well. Let's start some news off because Brad Holmes, he was working like a wizard these last few days. He made Okora take a $9 million pay cut. Jack Fox, a $1.6 million contract restructure. Charles Harris took a pay cut. This dude is doing things that, like, I'm going to fact check with you guys because you have been following the Matt Millen eras and, probably before. But have we seen any GM, make like little, 1.6 million restructures? Obviously, a $9 million, pay cut is a big deal. And most GMs would make that move if they could. But have we seen any type of like contract renegotiating as much as we've seen right now with Brad Holmes?
No. I mean, not good ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we sure as hell saw Bob Quinn spend a lot and early and get a lot of guys, a lot of Patriots. But no, we've never seen these like types of moves. And at first they seemed kind of like odd, right? Remember Brad Holmes' first signings, like Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perryman and the trade
for Trini Benson.
Thank you. Exactly.
That's great.
Very interesting. And you're almost taken back by it, but he was just immaculate at drafting where you were just kind of like, all right, let's just keep doing these. Sure. And then we get a prove it deal for CJGJ. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw this on Twitter from a guy who probably has 6 followers, so it most definitely might not be right. If he has an outstanding year, I don't know, leads the league in interceptions again, maybe, and he leaves us, do we get a compensatory pick on that? Right? Would we not?
After a 1-year deal?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it needs to be 2 years.
Is it 2 years? Okay. Let's look that up at some point.
Ironically, while you're talking about it, there's a good chance, I don't know how it all works out, but there's like a good chance we'll get a compensatory pick for Jamal Williams come 2024 next year.
Yes, absolutely. Why would it be not?
And he was a 2 year. So I think 2 years the limit.
San Francisco has like 17 compensatory picks this year for the most odd reasons, in my opinion.
Man, that's how
we didn't get any, and they had like 6. Like I think they I'm not even trying to
their coaching tree. Their coaching tree, because teams get compensated if their assistant coaches get hired away to head coaching positions, and Kyle Shanahan has been letting them loose on the NFL the last couple seasons.
Is it? You know what? It might be bad to ask, but honestly, what race is Mike McDaniel?
Mike McDaniel is biracial.
Yeah, he's biracial.
Oh, okay.
So they got, I think,
he's very light skinned, and I just kind of thought he was always white.
It was a whole thing about how people thought he was white.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I didn't even look this up. But I kind of was, when I looked at it, I was like, weird.
It's not even like a colorism thing or anything. It's
right.
Just,
nor should it be. Right.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to know it, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just had never looked that up. I just never knew, so I was
Yeah.
just curious. But okay,
And he was hired away from San Francisco, and they
right,
earned a
obviously, right,
compensatory
right,
pick. Yep,
right.
along with like D'Amico Ryans and so on.
And I
and so
guess that's the one,
Yeah.
fine lining about, if someone does poach Aaron Glenn off us, then, we'll get something
So
back.
now, does Deuce Staley fall into this group, or no? Because he
only
left
head
on his own
coaches.
terms.
I think
What?
it's
They have
only
to, be,
head
they have
coaches,
to
yeah.
be a head coach. So, like, assistant coach to become a head coach.
If Ben Johnson would have got
Yeah,
hired,
right.
maybe we would have got
Yeah.
one.
No, would we have gotten one for Ben
Yeah.
Johnson?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was just if it
I
was.
don't think so.
I
No.
don't think if you're a
Is it only a
Caucasian.
minority assistant coach?
Wait, what?
Is it only a minority assistant
I
coach?
think so.
Yes.
I think
Yeah, it's
so.
all
I
minor.
do not think Ben Johnson garners us anything.
But
You
you
be
do get
given-
compensated for free agent players. Leading.
Right. We went on a whole
Regardless,
tangent, and I led that tangent. My fault, but I was just curious, and we went on that. But for anyone who doesn't know, now they know.
I mean, it's kind of a new thing. Actually, it's only been implemented like the last year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that it's like really coming into effect, it's it's good to talk about and just kind of
Figure
some
out.
things out. Right.
Well, while we're kind of on the free agency topic, let's talk about one player that we did not retain that's still out there. That's DJ Chark. He has had a couple meetings with the Panthers, I believe, and I think that's it. I know the Lions are still, kind of in, kind of not. I believe there's a couple beat reporters that said, we're still our toes in the water with DJ Chark. So we're seeing, what Juju Smith-Schuster got, what Jacoby Myers got. Obviously, they were, the top end wide receivers. And Chark got a 1 year, $10 million last year. These guys get 3 years, $33 million, $11 a year. It's interesting because I don't think Chark gets $10 million even again. I think he's like looking at maybe like a $6 to $9 million range. Julius, is that something you'd be liking to pay?
Are you muted?
He's muted.
Oh, Julius!
I wanted to pull an Adam.
There's no special guest on today, Julius. No need for that.
Yeah, no need to mute. Yeah.
But as I was saying, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pay DJ Chark $6 to $9 million simply because we have already allocated several resources on defense and free agency, and we kind of try to restructure some contracts to get some money. We still got to sign our rookie class. So do I want to pay DJ Chark, who's going to be a wide receiver stretch 3/4 because you got Khalif Raymond still? Do I want to pay him $8 million a year? I don't know. I'd rather just like maybe draft the next Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round.
Yeah, our buddy Hatter's house. Wide receivers are a dime a dozen, especially in the draft. And there's always rotating free agency classes where it's like if you want to get a good wide receiver 3, it's not hard because it's a wide receiver 3. So I'm kind of with you, Julius. I love DJ Chark. I wouldn't mind him back, but if Jameson Williams is the real deal and Dave Montgomery is, a whole lot better than he was running behind a Lions O-line than a Bears O-line, then that makes me believe that this money could be used a lot better elsewhere than, a very good wide receiver 3 in which we could have, Khalif Raymond or Josh Reynolds fill to suffice. So, thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I think we're all looking at this in a very Madden-esque type of way, okay? And the way I say that is we aren't dealing with Patrick Mahomes or Matthew Stafford, who you can plug and play. We have seen countless times receivers take countless weeks to get on board with Jared Goff, even so much so that he trusts throwing to him. We did see after a long time because of injuries, but also because of, I think, a new addition, DJ Chark finally have the confidence with Goff, so much so that he threw it to him in 2 game-winning plays. One he caught against the Packers, one he didn't against some team I can't remember. He made a turnaround and just wasn't there. I think it's almost worth it to maybe overpay to bring Chark back. The thing is, he wants 3 years, and Holmes doesn't want to give him that. So the issue is how much money are you, and where are we coming to in terms together in year-wise? What I've heard is it's just basically down to Carolina and the Lions. Unless a surprising team they wake up one day and they're like, throw the bag at him. I don't think another team's grabbing him outside of Carolina, probably on the hands of Deuce Staley helping out that, or Detroit because of what we know. He's posted these Instagram photos of him with his kids wearing Lion stuff. I don't think that is just by accident. Not these days. I think everybody
Highlight
knows
films
how to.
too.
I just don't think that's an accident. And I think that us paying DJ Shark isn't the worst thing. We have cleared up a lot of space. Thank you to Okwara and Jack Fox and all these other countless players that have decided to help us build this winning team that we are building. Like, it's crazy. It's nuts. We've never seen something like this, I feel, and actually believed the way we do. I think bringing DJ Shark back is imperative. I think we have to do that, and it has to be this week. And that's one person that I'm pushing hard for because of all those reasons. Yeah.
That's a great point, Nick. You kind of got me flipping sides in my head because, you know, if Jameson, Amon-Ra, you know, one of those guys goes down, especially Amon-Ra, and we've seen it happen. He's not, you know, Mr., you know, 100%. He's a bit injury prone sometimes.
He got a concussion last year, and you know what I mean? Head injuries are kind of like a snowball. It's something you need to be watching out.
You never know. And so if we were only down to, you know, Jameson, we let Shark go, then it's, you know, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and, you know, some rookies and some other guys from the practice squad. I get what you're saying, and you need to have Goff's guys almost for him to play his peak.
Just Goff. If we trade for Lamar Jackson tomorrow, yeah, we probably get rid of Shark and we just throw something there, and we don't really even need him because Lamar is going to do crazy stuff, right? But we probably aren't. We got Goff, and we have to play around Goff because he's our quarterback, and that's what you do in the NFL, like it or love it. Unless we're drafting a quarterback, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibilities. I think there is a universe out there that has us drafting a quarterback. It might be this one. I think we just got to keep Shark. We got to
jumping on that quarterback talk. With all, you know, the backups being gone, you know, there's pretty much the only guy I can think of that I would be, you know, okay with would be Teddy Bridgewater. And other than that,
backup quarterback. My God, I heard this on 97.1. Do you mind if I cut you off?
That's exactly where I heard it. So
what the heck are we talking about? Julius, what are your thoughts on this? Because, like, in my opinion,
we need a backup though.
We don't need a backup quarterback. You can throw Julius in at backup quarterback and just keep Goff safe. And you know what happens if Goff goes down and we have Teddy Bridgewater in? I'm not going to be like, maybe we can do what Nick Foles did. Like, I don't like, and it doesn't matter who, it could be Marcus Mariota. It could be, I don't like, unless it's Matthew Stafford. If you don't have your starting quarterback in, why would you even think like this guy could be Kurt Warner and Trent Green could get injured and we would just we'll ride Kurt Warner to the Super Bowl. At that point, you just got to get.
What did y'all hear on 97.1 exactly?
They just had a huge debate on who our backup quarterback should be and how imperative and needy it is. That's what
I think there's a rookie is going to be our backup quarterback.
I think so too.
I don't know if that's going to be a first round rookie or a second round rookie or a 6th or 5th round rookie. I don't know, but I believe that it's going to be a rookie quarterback who's going to be our backup.
UDFA, look at Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is if your team is very successful. Now, sure, he didn't make the Super Bowl and Nick Foles did, and that's the argument of what your backup quarterback can do. But having Nick Foles as your backup quarterback, even at that time, I don't think anyone was like, that's a great backup quarterback. If we lose Carson Wentz, he could probably lead us to the Super Bowl. No one watched Drew Bledsoe go down and was like, Tom Brady, he's going to win 7 Super Bowls.
You say this now, Nick. Until Jared Goff is laying on the ground or being carted off the field.
Don't put that juju in the air, Julius. Don't you dare put that in the air.
When the Lions are 10-2 and trying to hold on to a division title for the first time in team history, you're going to be like, oh, shit.
Sudfeld, let's go. Josh Dobbs. You know what? Give me AJ McCarron.
No, he's in the XFL. You hear what he said? AJ McCarron
just threw for Auburn. If we're talking about getting backup quarterbacks, let's give him a couple mil.
AJ McCarron said he turned down more money to play in the XFL because
Right.
He wanted his kids to watch him play, which
So he's going to go win the XFL championship, which we saw happen with Tommy Maddox in Pittsburgh in 2000. And then he gets signed to Pittsburgh. Cordell Stewart gets injured. This is going way back for you boys. And Tommy Maddox comes in, leads him to a playoff victory. It was great. Wasn't a Super Bowl, but it was awesome.
Hey, playoff victory.
Could be AJ McCarron. He's going to win the XFL championship. Lions will sign him. He'll be our backup. Goff will go win a Super Bowl, and AJ will just go back to the XFL. That's really what's going to happen. But I'm just saying backup quarterbacks are pointless. Do not draft. Do not waste who could be James Houston or Malcolm Rodriguez in the 5th or 6th round. Same thing about the goddamn kicker. People are like, we need Jake Moody. And I think. You know what? We should trade up for Jake Moody. He's amazing. He's just the best ever. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
No, do not draft
even as a
quarterback. Go get James Houston and go get a Malcolm Rodriguez, and we'll just take a UDFA. We'll take those. They're all right. Jerry Jacobs
has been a trade. The Lions have traded up, and within the 7th round, the Mr. Irrelevant pick, Jake Moody, kicker out of Michigan.
I'm okay with that. That's about the one place you can draft Jake Moody. You take him at Mr. Irrelevant like Brock. That's okay.
We don't have that pick. That's why I made that whole.
You have to trade up next
scenario.
year's 7th round pick for this. Right. But actually, haven't we heard before that it's better to be an undrafted free agent than it is to be like drafted in the late round of the 7th round because you get paid more, at least like a better signing bonus or something like that. Haven't we heard that?
I've definitely heard that, and also because you can choose where you want to go. Because there's some times where teams,
can choose where you go. Yeah. Jake Moody would definitely choose Detroit, dude. He's got to beat out Michael Badgley. All right, one of us can do that. You know what I mean?
Badgley's not. He's not bad.
He's great. He's great. I love Bad. I really like Badgley. I have a bunch of photos of him from the Senior Bowl, like good times, like.
We re-signed him.
And we re-signed him. You know, that's some shocking news we didn't get to yet. You know what I mean?
You know who we didn't re-sign? Jamal Williams. And I think this was a big, probably the biggest surprise other than CJ Gardner-Johnson signing, like not signing out of Lions free agency. And we'll get to the CJGJ in a little bit. But Jamal Williams, we all thought, oh, yes, family reunion, bring him back, baby. We saw the early reports. Jamal was, talking on Good Morning Football and, CB, all these, sites saying, I want to be back with the Lions. And next thing you know, there was some behind-the-scenes talk. And then it gets leaked out. The Lions and Jamal Williams are actually far apart on terms. And then, bam, David Montgomery comes to town. But I want to get back to Jamal Williams a bit and talk about, his comments. When he came to the Saints press conference, he said he felt disrespected by what the Lions had to offer. Personally, I get it and I don't, because I get what he did. The 18 touchdowns, breaking Barry's record, that's phenomenal. But you got to take it with a grain of salt, because he had 30 carries inside the 5-yard line. If you give Dave Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, hey, Craig Reynolds, 30 carries inside the 5-yard line, I would give him a good chance to break that record too. So no knock on Jamal Williams that, he got those 30 carries, but it is what it is. So for me, I feel like the Lions, they did give him, a reasonable offer, but Jamal was looking to get, a solid check. And Brad Holmes said, hey, if you're going to shop around and see if you could get more money, we're going to act fast. So don't be surprised if we, bring someone in. So what are you guys thinking about these comments? Were you guys, because I saw a lot of people were, like the F you, Jamal, you're fake, you're a poser, we hate you. And for me, I'm like, okay, that's simmered down. He's still,
this is a simple picture that was painted that happened, right? We offered Jamal Williams a fair contract. We offered him the same contract we offered David Montgomery.
Was it the same, or was it a little less?
I read reports.
I think it was a little less, but it was.
But it was more than the New Orleans offer.
More than his New Orleans,
yes.
Right?
Okay, my bad.
Per reports. Per reports.
This is all per rumor reports. And he thought he could get more. And he bet on himself. And he lost that bet. The Lions did not wait on Jamal Williams. Just like the Eagles did not wait on Chauncey Gardner, per reports. Kind of the same situation, except Chauncey Gardner, he didn't really go off on the Eagles afterwards like Jamal Williams tried to go off on the Lions and, publicly calling them out. That was totally unexpected. Totally unexpected.
Home run Trey Turner, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Go
that's why you're
USA.
waving the flag.
Let's go USA.
USA.
If I had a USA flag, I'd be waving that right now.
Hey,
Anyways,
no, but Jamal Williams, much love to Jamal Williams. He made last season a very memorable season. And from Hard Knocks to breaking the record to the Packers game, you know, I have no ill will towards Jamal Williams. What happened with Jamal Williams and the Lions is a business side of NFL. It happens all the time, and all sides will move on from it. I am disappointed that he's not a Lion again, but to be honest, David Montgomery offers a lot of potential in his role. So as far as Jamal Williams is concerned, I'm just moving on for it. I don't want to say I hate Jamal Williams or he's petty, blah, blah. I understand he's an emotional guy. I just want to thank Jamal Williams for being on the Lions this season, because honestly, Jamal Williams made this past Lions season like double magic. It was like literally just his presence on the team and everything he brought, all the moments. There was nobody on the team like him, and I appreciate his time with us, his short 2 years with us, to build the culture that Dan Campbell, wanted to. He's one of the cornerstones.
Yeah, and that's also real quick before you get into it, Nick. Jamal was, he showed it on the field. So kind of like what he says to an extent, I'll say. It's almost like, I'll give him a pass because I feel like in the end, Brad Holmes, the Lions, thought he's going to take a hometown discount. He loves this team. He knows who he is. And Jamal thought they're going to pay me. I broke Barry Sanders' record. And both came together, and it was like a, what type deal?
I don't know. I think Holmes is very smart and offered him what he thought was a very fair and probably home cooking deal, which it was because we saw he got less with the Saints. He offered him what was fair. He played the game. It didn't work. We saw that with Dalton Schultz. We've seen that with a couple players this year. You got to do what you got to do. Follow your agent's lead. His agent kind of screwed him. He then goes on to say that he did not like Detroit's offer. And the way he phrased it was very similar to the way he phrased it about the Packers. They didn't want me anymore. I found a new girl and she'd take me out to dinner. You know what I mean? Or they'd take me out to dinner.
That's great.
I think it worked from the first time and he went back to it. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think he said at the end, all love there. It's a business, whatever. He was the best running back the Detroit Lions had last year. We cannot say that DeAndre Swift could have done what Jamal Williams did, because DeAndre Swift did not do what Jamal Williams did and probably could not have. It is very tough to get 1 yard rushing touchdowns. He has the second most rushing touchdowns ever in a season from 1 or 2 yards. That's not because he had the most opportunities. That's because he had a very successful run pattern. He was very good at running and was the best running back. In fact, DeAndre Swift was so bad at the end of the year that Justin Jackson out-touched him, not because of injury, but because Justin Jackson was a better running back than DeAndre Swift was at the end of last year. Jamal Williams, back to him, was the best. You cannot take away scoring 18 touchdowns in the NFL. I think, 5 people have ever done that? And that's just right off the top of my head. Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Jamal Williams, probably 2 other people. I don't know. We can't take away from what he did. Will he ever do that again? No. He peaked. That was it. It was a perfect storm of the entire situation. Do I think David Montgomery can do that? Yes, but we have not seen it, so we cannot take it away from Jamal. He is the only one that the Detroit Lions has ever seen score 18 rushing touchdowns. Can't even say that about Barry Sanders. He's the best running back in the entire NFL history. So Jamal Williams, there can be no shade thrown at him for even saying anything remotely about Detroit, because we appreciate everything. It gave us so much to talk about last year. To double on what Julius said, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for all your antics, your words, your sayings, your quips, your interviews. All of it was just fantastic. David Montgomery's a better running back. And Jamal Williams was the best running back. I'm not saying anything. Jamal Williams was the best running back the Detroit Lions had last year. He was. There is no arguing that. I don't care what anyone has to say. David Montgomery's a better running back. and you give him the Detroit Lions offense, it's going to freaking fly.
The offensive line is still here.
It's and not only still here, we added our fucking homeboy Graham Glasgow in his interviews. Like, I just want to play with Frank and Taylor again because they're my boys. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. This team's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
It's getting good, boys.
It's getting good, boys.
You make a great point, Nick.
Good.
Montgomery is not just a better runner than Jamal, but he's a much, much, much light years better pass catcher. And if you look up Dave Montgomery highlights, you will see a good 40% of his highlights come off screen passes, swing routes, wheel routes where he catches the ball 30 yards down the field where, I'm not even sure Swift could do that. And it's things like that where when Montgomery's on the field, you don't know if it's a run or pass. When Jamal Williams was on the field, it was 75% chance of run up the middle. So
I do also want to say we cannot leave Jamal Williams conversation. What do we think? What are we losing the most of? The locker room presence,
the leadership,
the passion. Who do you think? Does anyone think David Montgomery going to go out before every game and throw the ball?
Also, that's a great point too. Jamal was that's
fans,
very interactive with the fans.
Passionate, locker room, emotional, everything that you want, in my opinion, to a degree, and he kept it at that, and he knew when to tug that line a little bit against the Colts in training camp, right? You know what I mean? On TV at the end of the season, like we saw him kind of toe that line of like too emotional, but still just kept it together. And that's huge. Who is going to be the funny, goofy, crying, passionate guy?
I'll throw this out there, and can't say for sure, but there's maybe a good chance that there was a guy in the locker room that was like, I can be that dude, but this is Jamal's role, so I'm going to stay quiet. And now that Jamal's gone, there's a whole new, someone needs to come in and take, the role of that.
I got a few candidates. Definitely.
And my top candidate, I feel like we're thinking the same thing, Julius. Aiden Hutchinson. I feel like that's right up his alley, Mr. Just personality, funny guy, good player, and going to be here for a long time.
I'm thinking maybe even Penei Sewell can bring that, because we've seen that passion from Penei too. He hasn't been as loud and vocal per se, but he has it in him. And I can imagine that Dan Campbell wouldn't mind his third-year tackle becoming a captain this year and help lead the team.
I think you both are right. Sewell was my number one guy, but I think you're right, Adam, with Hutch. I think Hutch is going to be that funny, goofy, let's have a good time kind of guy, but keep it, professional, but do great. And then Sewell's going to be the intense, you know what I mean? I want to see the dance and like
Detroit bad boy,
St. Brown. Like, there's so many people who can step up and be just awesome guys on this team, and I can't wait. But that was the biggest thing we lost in Jamal Williams. We did lose, in my opinion, our best running back. We did replace him with a better running back, again, in my opinion. But that passion, and I've heard David Montgomery is very passionate. He can control a room. That we're not losing maybe like so much the passionate, but that's that personality. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Like he wore an Evie hat to his interview. It's like that's
explain how Evie evolved. I was like,
man. Like that's just outstanding stuff in my opinion. Like I will miss that, but I think there's also a chance that he passed that along. Kabinda, I believe his Twitter friend of the show, Jason Kabinda, his Twitter profile is an anime, I believe, and there's maybe a couple other guys who are.
Well, hell, Aiden Hutchinson announced awards at the anime convention. They chose him over Jamal Williams. I don't know if you remember guys seeing that.
I didn't see that.
But yeah, it was some anime. I think it was like the main one.
Actually, I did see the awards because that's where he complimented the girls, the bunny dress. Did we see that? Do you know what I'm talking about there? No? Okay, just a beautiful sight where he talks to the 7-year-old girl, and as a dad of a 7-year-old, I was just like, "Wow, Aiden, I love you." You know what I mean? You're awesome.
That's awesome.
But okay, way to go, Aiden. Yeah, Penei too.
David Montgomery, because this kind of hit us out of nowhere. And the first thing that I thought of was, where have I seen this before? Oh, that's right. Jamal Williams. We just did that. We went interdivision, took a Packers running back and made him our own, became a much, much better version of what he was with, his former team. And now we go out, get Dave Montgomery, a Bears running back who, looked very, very good. Just if you look at his numbers aren't there. But if you watch the tape, you could tell this guy breaks tackles. He's got, a good balance, good contact. He could stay up. So David Montgomery, this signing was like almost out of the blue. Nick, was there any type of running back that you thought of, because obviously if we did let Jamal go, we were bringing someone else in. Was it like, if we let Jamal go, it's Bijan, because that's kind of what me and Julius were on.
Yeah, who you bring a Devin Singletary? All right, let's run it with Damian Harris this year. No, like there was not a single run. Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys just released him. Maybe he's still got taken. I was all on Derrick Henry. I wanted the best or nothing. I think Bijan I would have been all on Bijan if we would have just let Jamal go, not got a running back. I'm sitting right here with Craig Reynolds and DeAndre Swift. I'd have been guaranteeing we're getting Bijan at 6, and I'd have been like,
real quick, Nick, you saw that tiny home run, didn't you? That's why your eyes.
Yeah. I was hearing it. I was trying to go on and just ramble about Derrick Henry. You hear it just going over there. I hate to see it. Actually, I kind of don't. I really want this game to be like 4-4. You know what I mean? 4-4, bottom 9. Like, let's have a great one. Let's get through the show so we can all pay attention to the game and not this show, because this show is not as important as the game. We'll have a good time. Bijan Robinson would have been great. No running back out there at all. It was Jamal, right? It was Jamal or everything, right? Like that was it. That was all our minds. David Montgomery was the dark horse who I didn't even think of, and he's just perfect. He fits us so well. What is... Someone refresh my memory. 3rd best in like broken tackle rate. Best. In
forced missed tackle rate.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly.
The first tackle missed. He's the best in the league, or it's like tied for the best.
And go ahead.
I'm almost positive. I heard this on 97.1. I'm going to butcher the stat, but I'll say it in a way it makes sense. It was yards before he got hit. So his yards he gained before he got hit was the least in the NFL. So that means he was getting hit faster than any other running back.
Bears offensive line is Garbo.
Exactly. Yeah, he was still averaging, 4.1 per carry.
But when players get into that mindset, especially running backs, they fall into this must go east-west situation. Something I think DeAndre Swift was a victim of this year. Jamal Williams got it in his head to go north, and don't let anyone stop you till you got 4 yards under your belt. We need Montgomery to learn that. We need him to get out of this like Chicago Bears bad offensive line mindset and be like, yo, you have a phenomenal offense. Run north for 3 yards and then take the first hit, make him miss, and then keep going for another 3 or 4 yards. And that's 5 to 6 yards every run. Do not dance because you think that every offensive lineman is about to get pushed back in your face, which is a huge thing you see running backs deal with. So it's like you have to be able to pick someone who's going to be able to get into this Jamal Williams mindset. I don't want him to be Jamal Williams, but I want that north-south mindset. I want that just run. DeAndre Swift dances so much, and it bugs the shit out of me. It is his demise. It really is. In pass catching, it helps when he got open field behind the line of scrimmage. It is a terrible, terrible flaw. You have to be patient like Le'Veon Bell, but you have to be able to run north like Jamal Williams. And that's who Bijan is. That's why I like him so much, but I'm not advocating that we draft him now that we got Montgomery. I just think
this is totally my galaxy brain going here, but what if, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell were thinking, Deuce Staley's gone. He was the main guy that kept Swift running north and south. This guy might be zigging, zagging. We got to get, another north-south runner if we're losing Jamal. And in comes David Montgomery.
I think the zigzagging thing is a bit overblown with like DeAndre Swift. I do agree that they can get scary, but I think David Montgomery has great vision. So
I think so
he
too.
should be able to pick up because I'm gonna put all of this away. Bijan Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, Derrick Henry. I think the Lions offensive line, which is the bedrock of the whole entire team, will allow Craig Reynolds to go off next season. If they're healthy and they're going, I feel like it really doesn't even. I feel like David Montgomery's going to have a good year. DeAndre Swift, if he could stay on the field, can have a good year. And if we end up drafting Bijan Robinson, I don't think we have to. Every pick is a luxury, though, thanks to this Lions free agency period. Every pick is a luxury. We can be luxurious from first round to sixth round. Bijan Robinson with the 18th pick sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
You want to get a quarterback at 6? I don't care.
Oh, man.
A quarterback and a running back in the first round? That'd be crazy. I wouldn't know
what. Trade up and get Will Anderson? Go right ahead.
That really sounds good to me.
Trade back and get more picks? Go right ahead.
Well, that doesn't sound bad either. I don't mind that either. You know, I always like more picks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Philadelphia is always willing to trade, and if there's a person there they like, if we go from 6 to 10 and get a next year first or something, I don't know if Philly has their next year first, but if we do get their next year first, that's another great. That's just I'll take 2 first rounds next year. I don't care where they're at. I really will. And keep a top 10 pick, and I still have the 18th pick to get Bijan. And we can get Devin Witherspoon to team him up with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Tracy Walker and Jeff Okudah and Emmanuel Mosley and Kirby Joseph and Tracy Walker. I think I already said him, but Jerry Jacobs is on that team. This team is our defensive backs have gone from the worst thing to the best goddamn defensive
crazy
team in the world.
And Brad Holmes taking a weakness and turning it into a strength is just like, who
it's smart of him to do that, though.
Yeah,
it's smart of him to do that through free agency and not the draft, because it takes corners longer to learn and help our team who wants to win now help our team win. So it's smart to go out and get guys that you know are going to help us.
Yeah, agreed. Cornerbacks are coming along a lot faster than they used to, but you're right. Cam's ain't no cornerback going to come out and be Cam Sutton this year, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe with.
Well, we saw Sauce Gardner, so
there's Sauce Gardner.
When was the last time a cornerback won the rookie of the year, which he shouldn't have, but like, you know what I mean? He was an outlier. Like, but they're coming fast. They're coming fast. Sanders. Yeah, exactly. So like 1980. Okay.
All right.
I think we have a few more years before we get another. But I don't know. They are coming up faster is what I'm saying. I just don't think any of them is going to be as good as Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton is the real flipping deal.
And
like,
just
great.
All like the signings. Oh my, you got, Ball Hawk and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Then you got Lockdown and Cam Sutton. And then you bring in like a little bit of both and Emmanuel Mosley. And just those 3 alone give you like, those 3 alone could make up a solid cornerback room. And we brought them in along with, Jerry Jacobs, Jeff Okudah, who I know did have a bit of a down last, 5-6 games, but he was still top 3 pick. And now he's going to be learning from, Chauncey, from Cam Sutton, and, just another year with Aaron Glenn. So it's gonna be a fun time for Lions defensive back.
It's going to push Jeff Okudah to greatness.
Hopefully that would be cool if he gets good enough to where we pick up his 5th option, because that's where it's getting murky as. Do we pick up his 5th year or not? Because the decision is this year. So
definitely pick it up. I
think so too.
This is pushing us to draft defensive line. Could you imagine just drafting 2 defensive linemen? Jalen Carter, everything behold. I know everyone. Did we see him run out of breath at his pro day? My God, he might die on the field. It's okay. Let's get Jalen Carter. Let's also get Nolan Smith, 2 Georgia boys. We'll pair them right back up. We will have a phenomenal defense. We can put James Houston on the backer at the backer position. We can have Nolan Smith and Aiden coming from the edge. We can have Lee McNeil and Jalen Carter running in the middle. And Jalen Carter will be okay. It will be fine. Could you imagine that defense with our secondary? I can't imagine it. Maybe draft Trenton Simpson in the 2nd round just because I'm getting real greedy right now, and we'll add him to Rodrigo and Anzalone, and we'll just take everyone and just be so good. I can't wait. I'm telling you guys, I tweeted this out. We're gonna go 15.
Want to hear something crazy? So I just found out. A little side note. I found out I'll be in Vegas on the day of the draft. So actually, all 3 draft days. I'm
You
going
gonna be able to do a live show with us?
obviously live from
I don't know if you're in
Vegas.
Vegas. I mean, if I was in Vegas, I probably wouldn't be able to do this live show, boys.
I'll
Draft
make
in
it happen.
Vegas? No.
I would be hands deep
No,
in
Kansas City.
some blackjack.
It's in Vegas. There was in Vegas last year, maybe.
I think
yeah.
Last year or the COVID year, one of
the
those.
year before.
I was so bummed too because I was thinking, I was like, dang it, I wish it was.
No, I think
this
last year was like Buffalo, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah,
Is
New
that
York.
wrong?
I don't know.
I think
It's
it might have been
Kansas-
Vegas.
it's Detroit next year, baby. That's what I know.
Right next
Or
year.
next year.
Can you
I'll be there.
imagine winning the Super Bowl and then having the draft,
I'm
just like
thinking-
Kansas City's doing this year, and we'll like repeat it next year?
Oh, that's. I
It'd
didn't
be
even think
so
about
lit.
that.
I can't even
Oh.
talk about Super Bowl.
Oh, we're winning the Super Bowl.
That's.
We need to win a
well,
playoff game. Do we?
We ain't losing a
Can I-
game
Can I say
for the
something
next
to y'all
10
real quick?
years.
Can I just ask our audience a question? Because deep down, I've been thinking. Are you a little afraid? Are you a little afraid? We ain't done nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the Kool-Aid is gonna get strong. You know,
Yes
I just
and
feel
no.
like we need to
Kool-Aid's
wait
going to
for
be
the
real
first game.
strong at the beginning of the year.
You know, we need to wait for the first game before we start talking about the Super
We
Bowl.
went 9-8 last year and went 8-2
Right.
in the last 10
What
games.
did I predict last season? What was my season prediction for the
Like
record?
13-3, I think, or 14-3. Just a little off.
You see this? You see, and look how we started the season, 1-6. So
Yeah, but we got an easier schedule this year.
true.
You
There's a
look
lot
at our
of things
schedule.
going. It's going to be a better team, a better roster.
Way better team.
Is SOL gone? Is it kind of? Is it
Well,
drowned out?
this is it. This is it, right?
Yes.
If we go 5-12 this year,
Don't
then
even- don't-
SOL reigns supreme. Like man, that'll be the. If we go 5-12 this year, I don't know what I would do.
Honestly, just wanted to get that.
I probably just.
I honestly just wanted to get that out. The only way that's going to happen is injuries. To be honest, if
Yeah,
we stay as
imagine.
healthy as
Right.
we were this past season, if we're as healthy next year as we were this year, we're going to be a playoff contender.
I like to think so. Injuries really do play a lot in the NFL, and you can't predict them.
Right.
You can't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? You just get next man up, and that's why you should get
a
Nate
good backup quarterback.
Those last 10 games, those
Teddy
last 10
Bridgewater.
games of the season,
I was
those last
leaving
10
that
games-
open for you guys to answer real quick.
Those last 10 games of last season, that's what we're going off of, not those first 7. You know,
And that's what we do time and time again as Detroit Lions fans. And how many times have I told you that
in the past.
momentum at the end of a season never leads to the next season? Now, this
Right.
obviously seems different, and I'll sit here and drink the Kool-Aid all day, but how many times have I told you that we have won the last 5 or 6 of 7 or 8, and everyone thought that following year was just going to be the best year, Way to go, Peter. Way to go. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm a little afraid, and you have to be as Lions fan.
I don't think I'm afraid. I just think it's something I think about deep
I'm
back
afraid.
in the pits of my mind.
There's SOL will always be there
Until
Dan Campbell
Playoff
knocks
win,
it out.
baby.
Right.
Well, one player that might make us a little more playoff contender-ish, whatever, Super Bowl contender-ish, honestly, that is CJ Moore. No, I'm just kidding. Not CJ Moore, but we did re-sign CJ Moore, which
CJ
was
Moore.
hilarious because if you look at all the comments on the Schefter tweet, they're like, not the CJ we wanted. CJ Gardner-Johnson, bring in that CJ. And then sure enough, 2 days later, lo and behold, we get CJ Gardner-Johnson out of the blue. This was just there was no lines, looking to add more to their secondary. It was just, bam. We got CJ Gardner-Johnson, another Chauncey back in the D, which my dad pointed out, which I think that's kind of cool too.
Absolutely.
So hopefully he gets 3 interceptions this year, more actually. But on his third, I'm going to yell a Chauncey for 3.
I love that.
But all in all, this dude, we've seen. Go check Eagles Twitter. You got AJ Brown, you got Darius Slay, you got all his boys from a Super Bowl contending NFC champion team saying, you got a dog, you got a real one, you got a special player. So hearing it from elite teammates, yes, I know they're teammates, they're, friends, but still, it means something. And then a lot of people, you don't think, oh, he's an Eagles guy. No. He's also a Saints guy. And who else is a Saints guy? Aaron Glenn. So familiarity
and
there.
Campbell.
And then you can even go as far back as high school, where Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did 7-on-7 drills that Aaron Glenn was coaching. So Aaron Glenn has been familiar with this guy since high school, has literally Aaron Glenn called him a son at one point. But all in all, this is going to be a good match. And my final thing, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was PFF's second-rated free agent, only behind Lamar Jackson. So he's the best defender according to PFF for free agents. So ultimately a phenomenal signing, a beautiful cherry on the cake. And honestly, this was kind of like a weird, okay, maybe we don't get our Bobby Wagner, Levante David, but we did get a special defender.
It's true. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's also a surprise signing. Did you guys predict this? I didn't. Maybe before free agency started, but after we got Cam Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley, I thought we were done.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we were done.
Yeah.
But at 1 year, $8 million, 6.5 guaranteed, we got a premier player at a premium, like a premium prove-it deal where he's going to play hard. He led the league in interceptions to go on top of Cam Sutton and Emmanuel Mosley, and an emerging Kirby Joseph, a returning, wants to prove himself, Tracy Walker. Our secondary, literally, Brad Holmes deserves an award right now in the middle of the offseason for the way he turned our secondary around when it was historically bad. The first half of last season, it was historically bad. We could not stop anybody. Amani Arourier, the way he fell off, and Tracy Walker getting hurt, it was just in shambles. We were starting like Brady Breeze out there.
Chase Lucas,
a total. Hey, Chase Lucas might end up still being a nifty little nickelback. I tell you what, but
I hope so.
Yeah, Brad Holmes draft picks. Never forget about him.
Yeah. Forget about him.
But definitely that CJ that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that really put us to the next level. That's why the national media is literally starting to talk about us like we're Super Bowl contenders, because those type of deals make that happen.
Starts with Cam Sutton, and it's like, oh man, we had the worst secondary in the world last year, but we have some guys coming along. Cam Sutton, that'll help out a lot. It's locked down. Put Okuda on the side. See who wants to play nickel, and we'll just kind of go from there. You know what I mean? Probably drafting Devin Witherspoon. Emmanuel Mosley. Oh, well, that's really, really cool. Like, when healthy, he's a very excellent player. Does kind of get riddled with injuries. So we need to make sure we keep an eye on that and maybe not the highest expectations for him. Then we got freaking CJGJ. Once we got him, it made so much sense. Oh, yeah, Dan Campbell, he once coached for the Saints. Oh, yeah, Aaron Glenn, he once coached defensive backs for the Saints. Then you learn, like Adam said, that you do the deep dive and you realize, whoa, this guy been coaching them since forever. They have a father-son relationship. But we can't let interceptions fool us. Monty Aurore was second in the league in interceptions 2 years ago. Okay, Trayvon Diggs led the league in interceptions 2 years ago. I wouldn't want to sign him for a nickel.
Eagles had a good pass rush.
I don't think he's got a good cornerback. Eagles had a great pass rush, which we should too, which makes it easier. Makes it easier for our ball hawkers like Kirby and whatnot. But we can't put everything on interceptions. In fact, it's probably it's like quarterback wins, in my opinion. Interceptions like quarterback wins. You kind of just fall into it. Pass deflections are a bigger play, even though I think I disputed that stat while I was trying to fight for Aiden Hutchinson. But regardless, it is a really good stat. Which Aiden Hutchinson had a couple pass deflections and 3 interceptions, and Sauce had none. But anyways,
go ahead.
Okay, so you get this guy who isn't just about these interceptions. That's what I'm trying to get towards. This guy brings so much fucking passion that it's crazy. that this is, to a point, sometimes I think Cortland Finnegan-esque, maybe a little much, but so did Jalen Ramsey, and we were all banging the table for him. This was the best signing, passion-wise, in my opinion. Cam Sutton, the best player and athletic signing in my opinion. Okay. That passion that CJGJ is bringing, CJ Gardner-Johnson, is going to freaking echo through the walls of the locker room, in my opinion, and it is going to keep the defense intact, motivated. He has been on Super Bowl winning teams. He has been on division winning teams, as he said. We haven't seen anything even fathomably close to that since 1991. This guy brings an attitude that we wanted and the experience that we wanted.
Villain.
And what?
Villain.
And he's a villain. He's a straight villain. Have we all ordered our hoodies yet? Maybe I'll do that tonight.
I don't even know. I feel like that was like a Brad Holmes exclusive, one of one.
No way, it's out there, man. People have been posting, they've been getting them. We got to get ours. We are falling late to that crowd. We need to get ours. That looks like a sick.
Reason why I say villain is not obviously because of what you just said, Nick, but you guys remember a couple years ago when he was playing for the Saints, and the Saints were playing the Bears, and he got so underneath a Bears player's skin, Javon Wims.
I was going to say, does anyone remember his name? Yeah, okay.
Javon Wims comes up out of nowhere. The play is done. Dude runs 10 yards over to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Chauncey turns around. Bam! One punch. Dude, what the hell was that? Bam! Another punch. So this dude was so pissed. He was like, I don't care. I'm getting fined $50,000. I'm getting suspended. Doesn't matter. I want to punch this guy in the face. Granted, you could spin zone that and make it look bad, but a player that gets under your skin like that.
Jalen Ramsey.
Bad boys.
Oh my gosh. What if
we
tried that before with Ndamukong Suh and we were kicking Rodgers in the nuts and stuff? You might not want to get so much bad.
I like that. I missed the stupid.
Hey, that's the last time we had a top 5 defense.
This is the best I've felt since Jim Schwartz. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Since Jim Schwartz, this is like the best. And honestly, I thought Jim Schwartz was onto something. I still think that given a good owner, Jim Schwartz could have been a great coach.
Back in Cleveland, I think.
Is that where he's at?
He is.
Yeah,
good for him.
He took his 1 year hiatus.
And
went to Cleveland.
He said it's the most passionate place he's ever coached or played.
Oh,
Cleveland.
He said that, and there were people on Lions Twitter that noticed. That was one of them.
All right. Well, good for Schwartz. I hope Schwartz becomes a head coach again. I honestly think he got a bad. He didn't get a fair shakeout, is what I'll say. But Dan Campbell, he's getting a fair shakeout, and that motherfucker better go 14-3 this year. Anything less, I'm putting him on the hot seat.
Jim Schwartz was a good coach. He built a great defense, but he couldn't sign a good offensive coordinator and get a running game going for Matthew Stafford, which was his downfall.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point.
It really is a good point.
Back
I don't
to
know. Matthew Stafford takes away from his running game. He didn't even have that great of a running game with Los Angeles and went and won it all. Like, I don't know. We're not here to talk about Stafford.
He had a good defense.
Yeah, they had a great defense. Von Miller and Aaron Donald's pretty good.
But
Jalen Ramsey.
I will say, how happy, boys, do you think, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, our sack masters are, knowing, oh my goodness, this team has to, scout this incredible secondary on top of me and my other boy on the defensive line. And now it's like, instead of read number 1, Jeff Okudah or Jerry Jacobs locked up on him, it's read number 1 is Cam Sutton, depending on where the guy is, or Chauncey Gardner, depending on where the guy is. And both of those, you're more than likely looking to your next read. And when that happens, it's an extra second for Hutch to get to the ball. And boys, I know you saw it. There were so many Hutch just like right as the quarterback throws the ball, he's like getting there. And it was just like a split second late. And maybe it was the quarterback seeing Hutch coming and going, I got to get this out quick. Or maybe it was luck, but either way, he's getting some more time to get to that quarterback.
Hutch is going to have 15 sacks this season.
Yes, I was not 15, But I'm gonna set the bar at 12.5. I think he's gonna hit double digits with the ability. I think 15 is a good ceiling, though.
15 is a great ceiling.
saw
Let's
the
just talk
sun,
about
right?
how good Sunday was, right?
16.
Michigan State, the 7th seed, couldn't even win a game in the Big Ten championship.
Speaking
You
of
know,
that, that was the most watched NCAA tourney game, the Michigan State versus Marquette game so far.
well, good thing it was, because holy moly was that game just outstanding. And Michigan State comes away with a win, and let's go Spartan Dogs for winning it all this year. And then right as the game ends, so we signed Gardner Johnson. What an amazing Sunday. An amazing day for all Spartan fans and Lions fans. So I just love that we got CJGJ. Like he's so I mean, we did get 2 cornerbacks. We got 3 cornerbacks. 2 of them have very risky injury problems. I'm not gonna lie to anyone right now. If you're thinking all these boys are playing 17 games, you might be a little wrong. But let's get the most out of them while we have them, you know? We got a lot of good depth, too. Now, this pushes Jeff Okudah down. It pushes Will Harris, who we signed back, down, who played well at the end of the season. This pushes Jerry Jacobs down. And that's not in a bad way. That just means that in depth, and we all know in the NFL by week 18, you're signing your lawn mowing guy to come play offensive right guard for you. And so let's just have as much depth as we can. So I love these.
It's almost like we now have, Jeff Okudah plays better as an excellent second, third string cornerback as opposed to a good, maybe average first string cornerback. So it'll be nice.
He's like the 6th man of the defensive back. You know what I mean? Which is so imperative. And people will be like, "Wow, he was a lottery pick. He was a number 3 pick." You know what I mean? In compared to basketball, but whatever. I don't care. If just be the best 6th man you can be. Be the best third string, or not third string, but like DB3. Be the best DB2 if that's where we're gonna put him, and we'll put Mosley. I don't know what we're about to do. I mean, it seems like CJGJ is gonna play the nickel, Okudah on the outside, Sutton on the number 1, and then you got Kirby and Tracy running that. Right, so those are 5 defensive backs in your nickel defense. Houston as a backer. I don't know what this draft is about to be, but if we draft an edge early, then that edge and Aiden, Aleem, and maybe Kalisha Cansey, if we take like Tyree Wilson as the edge and then Kalisha Cansey as the defensive tackle. And then our linebackers are Anzalone and Rodrigo. And then, like I said, you have the Houston out there as like an edge backer. Woo! That's pretty good. That's a good defense right there.
And then real quick before we wrap up the show, I want to get a couple thoughts on some post-designation cuts because we signed Graham Glasgow, and obviously the big one is Big V. If we cut him after June 1st, I don't know exactly how much money we save, but it's a lot. So do you think there's any type of, Brad Holmes talking to Bobby Wagner saying, hey, you just wait till, later on, we'll free up some more cap space and we'll be able to work with you on a better contract as opposed to, a 1-year, $8 million deal like Levante David got. So,
Julius?
Am I onto something, Julius?
You might be. They might be maneuvering things. I really don't know with Brad Holmes. He's kind of been. I think Brad Holmes is very reactive, and he's very smart and reactive. When he if he feels something needs to be done, he reacts to it. And he could be. I can't really tell though, because it's almost unpredictable the way some of his signings are like the CJGJ and freaking even re-signing.
Hey, we need it. What's a new nickname? Should we just call him Chauncey? We can't go CJGJ. That's like the weirdest thing in the world. We got
him Chauncey or Gardner Johnson.
I'm calling him Chauncey. Chauncey. Yeah. We're in Detroit. Chauncey's a great name. We're calling him Chauncey because it's Chauncey Gardner Johnson. He goes by CJ, but Chauncey Gardner. We're going with Chauncey. So that's
it sounds weird saying CJGJ.
It sounds very weird saying CJGJ. I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. Let's just go with Chauncey.
I said it to honestly. I said it to my coworker today, and Nick, I literally felt that because.
We all our fans felt that. Everyone listening is like, ugh, that's like saying the word moist. You know what I mean?
Let's do Chauncey. Chauncey.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. That's a good way to wrap it up here. A little Chauncey talk. And then not to mention Mr. Chauncey Billups also.
At least it's no Frozen this week.
I know.
Oh my god.
For those that caught the ending of last week, Julius did a phenomenal job.
If you didn't catch it, it's the best thing we've done interviews with Taylor Decker and Joey Harrington and every other player you can think of. We have never had an ending like we had last week, so please make sure you watch it because
Julius, me and Nick were thinking you're gonna be hosting the show.
Yeah, we got to get you hosting a show with that kind of.
Sounds good. Let's plan it. Let's plan it. Hey, but we're gonna tweet that ending out because it's hilarious.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah.
All right. As always, you guys can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _. You can check us out individually at Nick Faber NFL for Nick and the Fifth Top for Julius. We got all sorts of good Lions content, just good content. I don't even know what you want to call it. I don't know exactly what you guys post, but it's good content. I trust you. Subscribe to the YouTube. We're at the 517, so maybe don't because 517 is kind of cool. But hey, we could get it to I'll get to the Spartans in a second.
Represent Michigan area codes. You know what I mean? We all love some Michigan area codes right there.
What's a
is it 517 like Mount Pleasant?
Get to the 810. That's
810, 586, the 313.
Well, of course. Did you see that 313 is now about to not be the only?
Yes, they're running out of numbers. And did you see what they were gonna they were gonna change it to 679 though, which 679 is actually a cool number too.
679.
My boy Fetty Wap, that's a song. If any Fetty Wap listeners out there, they'll know.
Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. You know what I mean? So
all right, let's end now before Nick gives out some more dad jokes. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you all next week to talk hopefully some more free agency signings, but likely some draft talk next week. As always, go